Welcome back to the Current Electric High School Basketball Girls State Championship Preview Show presented by our friends at Cannon and Dunphy. I'm Mike McGivern alongside my co-host, Coach Sid from St. Francis. Tip-off for the first state semifinal in Division 5 is right around the corner. Stay with us here on My 24 for great high school basketball action throughout the day. Later this afternoon, second game in Division 2 should be a real good one as the 27-1 Tosa East Red Raiders take on the 23-5 West De Pere Phantoms. Sid, let's start with West De Pere. They won the Bay Conference with an 11-1 record, and they are coached by Chris Pere. And when you talk about that team, Coach, there's a couple of players that are making it go. In fact, 3 players in double digits when scoring. And as a former coach, if I had a team I was coaching against that had one kid average 25, everybody else was 6 or 7, felt pretty good that we could adjust and maybe get that kid to only get 20 and we could win. But when you got 3 players averaging double digits, West De Pere is going to be a tough out for Tosa East.
Yeah, you got Francois going to Oshkosh, Bergeron, River Falls committed, and obviously what starts with Walder, the Northern Michigan commit, who leads them in scoring. Kind of, to me, that's the engine of that team, but definitely they have other pieces.
Well, I'm glad you said that because Chris talks about this team and a few of his players.
We are a senior-laden team. A lot of the girls in our program, our main players, some of our starters have been with our program, playing key roles since their freshman year. We had a really solid regular season this year, won the Bay Conference, had a nice run through our region and sectional. We have multiple first-team all-conference level players on our program: Faith Walter, Ella Francois, Madison Bergeron. We have a legitimate post player in Mia Racine, a spacer shooter and Ava Vaness, and a lot of girls that we can bring in off the bench that can do some damage. It's just been a great year, and we're really excited to be here. This was a goal of ours to start the season, and we're really happy that we're able to see it through.
The common thread through some of these coaches as we listen is they talk about that senior leadership. And Coach, Chris had talked a little bit about that and some of the players that you had mentioned. They've got a tough matchup. They do. Tosa East, take on the number 2 ranked Tosa East Red Raiders, 27-1 overall, won the Greater Metro Conference with a 15-1 record. They are coached by Mary Murd over at Tosa East, and I've known her family a long time, and I had her in studio on my radio show, and she talked about building the program and having these kids buy in, and how it's a player-led team and how these players understand what she's looking for. This is a really good basketball team over at Tosa East, Coach.
I saw a stat the other day. Her first 4 years, she was 33-62. And then the last 3, she's been like 65-18. Obviously knows what she's doing. I had a chance to coach against her when she played at Greendale. Coaches the same way she played, very competitive, very well prepared. I saw them play a very good Whitefish Bay team, and she had that team super prepared and turned it into a non-contest, really, when Bay's a really good team.
Right, and I coached against her dad, Randy, in AAU basketball with my son, Matthew, and Alex played at Greendale, now works for the Boston Celtics. And so it's a basketball family, and you can tell when Mary Murd talks about, the sectional they had, and it was a gauntlet, and, the advantage of getting to state last year, when she talks about that, you can see how important that was to her.
I think it's going to be a big advantage. Really, it's a little bit more familiar. And two, I thought our sectional was a gauntlet. Whitefish Bay was ranked 3rd in state. Union Grove was ranked 5th in state. And there was really good teams. And I thought that because it was such a gauntlet, and it may not necessarily show up in the final score of the game, but there was definitely adverse moments in both of those sectional games. And so, I think that those games are going to helpfully prepare us against West De Pere, and it's nice knowing that there's familiarity up there too as well.
So during that interview with Coach Murd, at the end of the interview, she said, "Listen, before I go, I would like you guys to know something a little bit on the personal side. with me and my family. The people here in Wauwatosa know, but I want to throw that out there, and we're going to let you listen to this, Coach.
So one thing I keep talking about my team is that they're very player led. In full disclosure, our Tosa community knows, but the last 6, 7 weeks for me, as personally as a coach, has been very challenging. I'm actually pregnant with twins. And so I have experienced horrendous nausea and constant exhaustion. I mean, today I've already thrown up like 8 times, not gonna lie. And so practices have been challenging at times and games have been challenging. And, I really told the girls, like, didn't see this as coming to be this difficult. But they're really player that led. They know what to do, they know how to compete in practice, and they know what to do on the floor to get the job done. And so I can't say enough great things about how our team has really stepped up because it's been hard for me. And they are just one thing I really want people to know is this is a player-led team. They're focused, they have leaders, and they know what they need to do.
For her to mention that, first of all, congratulations to her and her family. I'd send her a text that said, "Hey, if you win state championship, Gold and Ball would be great first names for these twins." And she said, "Goldberg, I don't think that's going to happen." But certainly, congratulations to her. A lot of these kids on that team, right? Emma Close and that group. It is a player-led team, and when I had him in studio, you could really tell that these players have taken control of leadership to the team, and I think the idea of getting back to state, they were there last year, didn't get the deal done, but everything now is this template that she can utilize for trying to have some more success this year.
Yeah, and her top 4 scorers are only juniors, so for them to lead, and she, as you know, she has a really good staff surrounding her.
Very much.
That made it all possible. And the kid that makes the difference that doesn't show up in the box scores is the Hawk, Mackenzie Hawk, who transferred from some Prairie game, an athletic big who can defend, who rebounds. Numbers don't jump out at you, but when you can add a 6-foot kid that has played a lot of high-level AAU basketball and fit right into it's not always easy when you join a program that was at state. You're walking in new, and now you're in the starting lineup.
Coach said she was in studio with us with a number of the seniors, and she talked about one of the first days she walked into the school. She wanted to get some shots up, and 2 of the other players from the team said, "Hey, let us grab our shoes. Let's all shoot together." And she said all of a sudden she felt welcome, and the team welcomed her, and she knew there was a player or 2 she was going to take time from, and she said it didn't matter. And the whole team just kind of embraced her and said, "Welcome to Wauwatosa East, and let's get the job done." And she really has enjoyed her senior year there. Hey, we got to get to a break. Other side of the break, Division I, here we go. We'll break down the Division I matchups coming up later tonight. This is the Current Electric High School Basketball Girls State Championship Preview Show presented by Cannon and Dunphy, only on My 24.